Yasmina's
Human design. I don't know, what are you doing? You're going to actually just correct me, hey? So, I wanted to share with you some thoughts on why I wanted to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would love for you to share also maybe a purpose of why you want to do this as well.
Sure.
Actually, you go first. You tell me.
Why we're doing this?
Why are you here to do this?
The best way for people to learn about human design is to live it and experiment and experience it. And so I think you sharing that journey of yours has like 100-fold more impact on people than me talking about what I have learned. It's that lived experience that has such a more profound impact on other people. So that's why I think sharing human design through that lens is so important. So that's why I think having worked with you and seen your transformation of what it was like before we started to like where you are now, and knowing like where you are going is, yeah, I think that's so important, almost like to even like timestamp it. Because I know
yes, the timestamp.
Yeah, you're going to look
like
back
this.
at this in like 6 months' time and be like, I don't even recognize that woman staring back at me, because you'll just be such a different version, and other people will get to experience that growth and impact. That's why I'm here.
Yay. Thanks for sharing. So, should I introduce and say what I am? So, 5-1 manifestor.
Ego manifestor.
Ego manifestor. I still don't know the difference between that and the others. Yeah, still learning. So, the reason why I wanted to do this is a couple of different reasons. Number one, probably the biggest thing is selfishly enough for me, because instantly I thought to myself, what am I going to do with this? Well, I want to send the link of this to my friends as a justification, which is what I'm trying not to do, to say, hey, also friends, this is me. And this is proof that this is me, because here's my coach trying to, so I'm justifying and explaining myself, I suppose, which is what I'm learning to do less of. And so I think this is like hopefully burdening the blow or the explosion to say, hey, to my friends, just a heads up, watch the fuck out, because this is who I'm rapidly becoming, because who I was literally 6 weeks ago is not who I'm a completely different person to what I was 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that's honestly thanks to you and you pulling me out, you calling me forward and showcasing to me who I'm actually meant to be. It's like, I know this like dormant. Yeah. It's just like I feel fucking naked around you. You said that word one day to me when you came over and you were like you feel like exposed and naked. And I'm like, oh my God, stop telling me how I feel. And it's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's fucking seeing me. I was like, oh my God, yes.
A permission slip for you to show up like fully as your true self.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also the nakedness comes from like, I feel like, and Tara and I, my fiance, we're talking of 9 years, we're talking about how like we both feel so much more seen by you than each other can see us, like in my own relationship of 9 years. And I'm like, I think you look at me, I'm just like, holy fucking shit. She knows that I'm being small right now. And I'm like, I can't hide from you.
No.
It's this weird thing.
I'm on the outside, so it's easier for me to look in.
So like that being seen, I suppose, is one of your superpowers. And also the fact that you can read my chart as well.
Yes.
And see through me.
No hiding.
Yeah. So it's just so interesting, because I feel the purpose of me also, so the purpose of me doing this is one, so I could say, see guys, see you friends. I'm like, I'm about to become epic, but this is the reason why, right? Sorry, I'm about to become epic. I'm already fucking epic.
Yes.
And also, I am nervous to step more into the courage of what I believe I am here to do. Yeah. So that's reason number one. Reason number two for me is I feel like there's also like I've become obsessed with human design. And so I get to talk about it. So it's a little bit of fun for me.
Absolutely.
And I get to talk about myself. Apparently that's what I'm here to do.
Yeah. Normal.
Selfishly talk about myself, and also to help you because of how much you've helped me. And I suppose, I don't know if this is part of my line 5, the heretic in me that's just like, I want to fucking help Jazz so much because like if I can share this and do this, I can show to other people by helping you and showcasing how much you've changed my life. And that like lights me up a lot because I just fucking want, and I just know, I don't know, is this in my chart something to do with networking? Like, can you pull that up? Is that something that you can see?
I mean, like, you are a savior, so you do have that, you know, interaction with others. You aren't somebody that's meant to be here interacting alone. But Tara has a networking, opportunistic line in her.
Interesting.
So it could be the influence of her energy into your life as well, because you don't work in isolation when you are around each other. Her energy will impact yours and vice versa. But if you do have your fifth line, you are meant to be helping people. Like, because you're going to think about Ra and what he did. Like, he literally spent 23 years of his life going around the world teaching people about human design. So you're kind of doing something to that sense. Like, you're reliving that, because that's what he did. So can you see how you're doing very much a very similar path? Where you're like, everybody learn about fucking human design, it will transform your life. Yeah. So see how there's that similarity. So you're just doing it in that way of like awakening people. But it's a very, very influential line, the 5-1 profile. It's the most influential line. Yes,
I did not know that. Oh my God, I just learned something else. I fucking love this. It's so much fun.
I know. I mean, I only share things with Liver as things come up, because there's no point in sharing certain bits of human design with you when you're not like wanting to hear it. It's like a waste of both of our energy. So when you ask me a question or invite me into that space, I'll share it with you. So, you know, 5-1 is it's the most influential line in the human design because of the impact that you have on people. So
I had no idea. Interesting. And this is the other thing, to your point, it's like parts of learning about human design from my experience is like, there's one part where I'm like, why the fuck didn't I know that before? Or why wasn't that shared with me before? But also, I know that like everything happens in perfect divine timing, and that was intentional. The universe wanted me to find that out at that point because I either wasn't ready or wasn't relevant or whatever.
Yeah. Because there's so much to know. Like, it has to come in those phases, you know. The more that you awaken, the deeper you get into it, the more things start to make sense. And that's just, you know, like I've been studying human design for, you know, a few years, and even now, like, things are finally starting to make sense to me. But then there's so much more, you know, I still have to go. So everybody's journey is really individual. And so you're getting, you know, you're peeling your layers back as you need them to go. Yeah. Sometimes it's a bit too much to go all in.
Yeah, and I think about it like, so 2 years ago is when I first discovered it, and this has been my journey. So 2 years ago, I was going through a big breakthrough, and I went and saw my kinesiologist, had like 5 of them, and one day I was at the end of a session, and she like literally I was walking out of the session, she kind of like grabs me by my top. She's like, whoa, wait, come back. She's like, wait, you guys have one last thing that they want you to know about. And I was like, what? They said, have you ever heard of human design? And I was like, yeah, I know of it. My partner had kind of talked to, I just know I'm a manifestor, that's it. And then she goes, you guys just want you to know you're meant to get into it. Just go learn about it. Just do it for you. That's what it was. And I was like, okay. And that's where it kind of started. And then, it's been drip fed for the first 12, 18 months until I met you.
Yeah.
And then you were over at my house literally, 3 months ago? 2 months ago, not even. We're in the pool, we're hanging out.
No, I remember the first time it was when I came over, like, when we had the big floods and stuff like that. So it was like December last year, and we got really into it. We stayed up until like 2 a.m.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Geeking on human design. Yeah.
Yep. And then a couple of months ago, I had this idea, and I was like, you're going to be my one-on-one private coach.
Yeah.
And I was like, coach me permanently. Like not just like a one reading. I was like, I want access to you so I can like bring up stuff. Let's trial it. Let's see what it looks like.
Yeah.
And that's where I've had the biggest amount of breakthroughs. And I truly believe that's where the most amount of value has been, is being able to play back to you a scenario of like, I'm going through this right now, or I'm thinking this, where am I playing small?
Yeah.
Or what is your, and then inviting you in to say, now give me your feedback on what's going on here.
Yeah.
And that has been quite life-changing. So what I'm about to share with you is, these are I suppose the 5 biggest lessons that I've taken away about myself, and formulas that Jasmine has given me to follow. Over just the last, I suppose, 4 or 6 weeks has been the biggest changes for me. So lesson number 1 is, I need to stop looking for community and start building a communion. And I remember when you first told me that, I was like, what the fuck's a communion, dude? I'm just like rocking up to church, just like eating the, like the bread thing. That's seriously what I thought. I was like,
with Christ, no.
I was like, this is fucking a bit cooked for me. All right. So anyway, and then, you explained I've got to not seek to belong into something, and I've got to create the one-on-one.
Yeah.
So I suppose where this came from for me was, and this was a pattern that kept coming up. Yes. I thought it was a pattern over the last 12 months, because I keep joining these programs. So for context, I'm a property coach, and I constantly hire coaches and go into different communities to level up. And what I've noticed is there was this trend where I was joining, and I was just like, I just want to get out. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Yeah. And I'm like, ew. There's been some that I've played a part of and that I've genuinely loved, but it wasn't really the community that I loved. It was the one person's the leader in that community. Let's actually use a real example here. So I joined a community with a business coach. His name is Ryan, funnily enough, a mutual friend of ours. Now, beautiful, love you, Ryan. Anyone who needs a business coach and starting out, go reach out to Ryan direct. Anyway, so I joined this community, and then I loved it. But it wasn't the community that I loved, really. It was a couple of one-on-one beautiful connections that I had with him directly, and I was in his pocket, and also a couple of other connections that I had made one-on-one, like best friends that I made that were deep. Yeah. And he also gave me the flexibility as a manifestor to be in there. And so, but then after that, and I left that container, and then I went out on my own for a little bit, and then tried joining others, because I thought I needed to look for community. And then I was like, I fucking don't want this at all. It was actually the one-on-one that I desired. And then I realized when you told me that, I was like, oh, I've done that my whole life. I've gone into communities looking to be accepted. And then I realized that what I was looking for, that acceptance, was because of, apparently, manifestors, our biggest traumas are rejection. Yes. What's the other one? What are the other two? Is rejection? I heard it on another podcast.
Well, like not fitting in, like being alone, like, being the odd one out or different. Always sort of like on the outskirts of things. Because I think when we started talking about communion, it was because, like, one of the things that manifestors do struggle with is belonging, because you are made to feel so different and weird your whole life, because you are so different. And so a lot of the time when we are in that not self, it's manifestors do want to find community, because you feel alone in this place. And so, that's the trip that we went on, which is like, you're looking for belonging because you're feeling lonely in this place that you are, because you are different. There's only 9% manifestors in the world, and you won't ever find it, because in community what you find is that everybody is the same. Because what joins communities is like-mindedness, right? So it's like a whole bunch of people thinking of the same thing, liking the same thing, and that's the very thing that amplifies how different you are. And so you enter the communities wanting to fit in, but all it does is it amplifies how different and weird you are, and you're like, well, get me the fuck out of here, because this ain't my bunch of people. Yeah. And so you get out. But really, that was when we discovered that, you just want community. You want those deep, beautiful, meaningful connections. And you can find that belonging there. Because really what you're asking for is to be seen. And your whole life, as a manifestor, many manifestors aren't seen for who they are. People are always telling you to be less, shrink, stop, don't, shush, you're too fast, you're this, you're that. So imagine a whole life of people just telling you to...
Yeah, shut up.
And
Small.
and so of course, naturally, what you want is you want somebody to just see you and want you to be you. And that's what you were searching for, but you never found it because all those people are just so unlike you, right? And so you're like, well, where's the exit strategy? So communion. You'll always find belonging in communion with others because that's where you have deep, meaningful connections, where you can only build those when people truly see you for who you are. And that's like what you and I have when it comes to human design, which is this is a place where you will always be able to be who you are. Like, you'll never have to shrink. No. If anything, I'm always like, stop fucking shrinking. Can you just hurry the fuck up and be a manifestor already? Because I'm like, this is the one place you get to be who you are without having to filter, edit, shrink, all of that stuff. And you can build that with other people. So...
yeah. Thank you for creating that space.
Fucking doing.
I feel like when I'm around you, I honestly feel like I can fully be myself and you will just get it and I'm not judged and I don't have to be small.
No.
Because you get that side of me.
Yeah.
And society wants the rest of that of me. And so I'm learning to, like, when there's people that I think of who I desire to be like the courage that it takes, like, these are fucking globally courage balls deep fucking, like, big ego people. And I'm like, oh, I wish I had the courage to be like them one day.
Wish you will.
That's been a big breakthrough. And I don't know if this has also been a bit harder because of being a female as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Because I feel like manifest, like, I don't know if I'm just playing a bit of victim here, but I do feel like the male manifestors, it's more acceptable in society to be more raw and out there.
Oh, 100%. You're not playing the victim. It's like you are just, it's whether you're a manifestor or not, it's like women are demonized for having masculine qualities, and it's not about what gender we are, like it's more about the energy. And it is really, really hard because traditionally women are meant to be feminine and flowy and all of that stuff, which manifestors as a type really aren't. You are a go-getter, you are the initiator. That's all really yang, yin and yang qualities when we're looking at it from a masculine or feminine thing. So it's fucking hard that, you are going to struggle more as a woman, especially because you are not just a woman, you're also a lesbian. Like, and that's the other thing, which is like, you're playing in that like minority, it's because that isn't something that traditionally we are meant to be, whatever the fuck the world tells us. And so you're almost like really up against it. And that's, so you've been like fighting this battle really since the day you entered this world.
Also, what I thought was quite interesting, I haven't shared this with you yet, but the other night I was thinking to myself, when I realised the rejection part, when I was younger, as a teenager, I was so hardcore rejected and felt lonely that I genuinely think I was being more of a manifestor when I was a teenager than what I have been in my 20s.
Yeah, and you probably were because you are less conditioned then. Because you've got to remember, like, we're younger, so we have less conditioning in our life. So with human design, especially with when we start talking about children and things like that, I'm very sort of mindful of that because as conditioned adults, we want to interfere with things, but really, like, if you watch children, that they're living their design. Don't fuck with that. Let them do their thing.
Yeah.
And so when you get into your teenage years, you've started becoming conditioned by the world, but you're not fully conditioned. So you would have had a bit more of your manifestor qualities in you, but the world hadn't kicked it out of you yet. So that's to come, because by the time you're like 20, the world's told you to stop being yourself for so long that you're like, I give up. I obviously can't be myself, so I'll stop doing that. So yeah, that's probably, you still had that real Liv there. She hadn't been completely silenced yet. It's a tough gig though, being a manifestor, because you're always the first to go, so you're always going to be rejected. Like, you know, we follow, because if you try something and you fail, we get to sit back and laugh at you. And that is something that in this world is something that we've gotten really good at, hiding behind a screen and laughing at people, because there's always one to go first. And it's usually the fucking manifestors. And so we're always watching you guys fail or succeed because you're the first to take a risk. Because you got the gumption, the go attitude to go and do shit. You're not just going to sit on your ass and let life fly by. Like, it's not going to happen. So you will take the biggest hit for the rest of us.
All right, cats, let's go.
Well,
Manifestors.
That's why you have the aura that you have, because you'd fucking been in a fetal position in your bedroom floor crying because the world is a fucking hard place. So you have to have a closed and repelling aura, because you're getting rejected like fucking 100-fold compared to me, because I'm not going out there and like fucking fighting life like you are. I'm more, observing on the sidelines and watching, and then adapting based on what you might or might not do. So you got to have a closed and repelling aura, because you'd never fucking leave your house.
Yeah, so it's a form of protection as well. Basically,
absolutely.
to wean out the shit. Be like, fuck off, don't come near me.
You got to be strong. Yeah, that's it. It keeps you on your path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
No worries, what else did you
The other thing that I have. Okay, so that was number 1. Oh, this one was cool, and I'm finding it so easy to do. Setting the tone. Boom. So you taught me to set the tone of how to work, how I want to work, and make sure that they can adapt to my style first.
Yes.
So for example, instead of going into a community and saying, hey, I want to join, it's like, no, now, hey, I want to work with you, I really like you, but this is how I want to work with you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is how I want to do it. I did back to Ryan the other day, actually, funnily enough. So I contacted him back and I'm like, hey, Ryan, so he's somebody who helps with automation, right? He's known as the automation king. So I was like, hey man, so I want to fucking go 10x of building automation into my business. However, I don't want to do it all at once. I want to do drip feeds, just like steadily over like the next 6 months or so, for like phase it out. And I set a budget and I'm like, this is how much I want to work with. So I want to cap it at this. I want to make sure that you can meet that budget in that way. And if not, then we pause work if it's too much for you, or if it's blah, blah, blah. And he comes back, he's like, yeah, absolutely, cool. And I'm like, yes. So rather than meeting somebody else's way so for example, another way that they would typically do it is say, we'll do this piece of work for you. Here's one big bill, and then you pay for it at the end, or you come to us once you have the funds to do it. And I was like, no, I kind of like want to do it on kind of like a retainer sort of basis, like, Yeah. And he's like, yeah, sure, no worries, we can do that. I'm like, yes. So it's been pretty cool.
Yes.
And I noticed I did that with you as well.
Yes, because you are advanced. Like, this is the thing that, when we started working together, which is like, you have to stop playing in the pit with the rest of us. Like, I refer to the rest of us as peasants when it comes to manifestors and other energy types. Take offense if you want to.
Head's getting bigger.
But it is. We are a lot slower, and it's not a bad thing when you understand your place in the world. It's a really humbling and beautiful experience. Like, there's a place that I have and my role in this life, and there's a place that you have, and you are so much more advanced. We spoke about how manifestors have led, the world for eons before, historically. So why would you come into a group and fit into that? No. You set the tone. We fit in with you. We follow your pace, and that's how it should be. And there's nothing wrong with that. And, demanding the respect that you deserve. And maybe it's because you are a woman, because people don't know how to handle a woman going, oh, first of all, this is what I want, and you can take it and you can fuck off. Those are the two options that you have. And that's what, I wanted you to start doing, which is like, these things aren't working because you're trying to work with them. No, they work for you. You don't work for them. So that's what it's about. So if you were quite early in your game, we would be looking at breaking in and building it up. You're not there. You're advanced. So you don't need containers. You need bespoke shit that works for you. This is where Livo is. This is where I need you to meet me. And if you can't meet me there, that's cool. I'll go find somebody who can. Because your time and energy is precious. Why waste it doing this shit over here? Playing with people who don't get you. Like, this chapter of your life isn't about making people get you. This chapter of your life is getting yourself. And then if they don't get you, well, bro, we're on a different train. Like, you can come along. Like, everyone is welcome. But in this train, like, Livo doesn't have to explain who she is, why she does things.
I'm really struggling with this.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with the not having to explain myself.
Yeah.
I'm being more conscious of it and trying to be like, whoop. But I mean, as I said at the start of this, feel me, like, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing it. It's because it's kind of like explaining. So I'm really struggling with that. Why do you think I am?
Well, I think you have a defined ego, so you are somebody who's designed to prove themselves. And so there's a difference between proving, yourself and explaining yourself. Okay? So there's where you are going around and telling people what you're doing and explaining yourself because you want people to understand you, but you can actually be. You can just exist and people will naturally come along the journey. You don't have to step the things out and be like, hey guys, so I'm here now.
Yeah.
After this step, where I'm going to go is over here. And then when I get there, I'm going to go over there. It's like, no, you just naturally evolve. Just be, step into your power, grow, and people will see naturally what it is that you're doing. You don't have to explain yourself, but you can prove yourself just by being yourself.
I love proving myself. That like lights me up.
There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's the other thing we spoke about, which is like, when you are an ego manifestor or an ego-driven person, that's something that is really misunderstood in this world. And I think it's something that we've painted, I think, through this woke culture and whatever the fuck, like ego is a bad thing. And I think it's because we're scared of ego. We don't fucking get it. And because we're scared of it, the one thing that we do is we demonize it.
Yeah.
The minute we don't get something, it's bad. And it's like, well, we're just got to get rid of that thing. And there's nothing wrong with ego. The thing that's wrong is with people putting stories and judgments and shit on something they don't understand. And so I know I have an undefined ego when I am in the company of like hardcore, arrogant, toxic, dick measuring contest ego. I can feel it, but that's not what I feel with you. What I feel with you is a very healthy ego. It's like confidence, like you just want to go out and like live life and grab it like and fucking go. Like, why is that bad?
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, like we should stop demonizing this thing that we don't get. And so that's the thing that I really want, and I've really wanted as part of our journey, is for you to stop feeling bad for being an ego manifestor. It's like this whole time, it's like, you know, it's almost like you're apologizing, but you're not apologizing, but that's how it feels.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, which is like the worst thing you can do is apologize for being who you are.
Yeah.
Because if you weren't so driven and ambitious and like wanted to go out there, what do you think the rest of us would be like? We follow your energy. We would be fucking little plebeians on the couch if we didn't have people like yourself like lighting the road up for us.
And also, can I just say that, like, this is one of the reasons why I think you are so vital to this process. You are so vital for, like, helping society see the different designs.
Yeah.
We need it more. Like, I feel more called forwarded. I don't know if that's a word.
Called forward.
Because you've explained the importance of my role. And if I don't do it, like, fuck, the world misses out.
Yes. Yeah.
That's been huge.
Well, like, you got to remember too, as a manifestor, like, you're here to, like, have impact, right? So as a projector, my role is to know the other. That's what I'm here for. And you're here to create impact. Now, how the fuck are you going to create impact if you're playing the game that the rest of us are playing? You're not. You can't create impact if you're playing small. It doesn't fucking work. And I've seen other people, I watch people create impact all the time. I can see it, and you have to take risk to make impact. Like, you know, you have to be the weird one, the misunderstood one, the disliked one. You have to be willing to stand for, like you want to let everything burn, but as long as you stay true to yourself. Because otherwise, you're not creating impact, you're creating sheep.
The next thing that I really learned, was not having to explain myself. That was the next one. We covered that one. Informing others doesn't slow me down. Informing others gives me peace. So I'm still learning to adapt to this one.
Yeah.
Because, the informing thing is like, I don't want to fucking inform no one. I just want to do my shit. Like, you're getting in my way. Like, fuck off. So the informing thing is really testing my patience. And I'm really trying to see it from the other side of, like, it will create me more peace. And ever since you said peace at is it true that you said that our strategy is to create peace?
Yeah, your signature theme is peace. That's what you're here to really, like, find.
Fuck me. That is, like, so 100% me.
Yeah. And you gotta remember too, you're not just informing because you want to reduce resistance, because the path to peace is reducing resistance. So some of the reasons that you don't like informing is, again, linked to the rejection piece. And a lot of manifestors do this. They don't inform because sometimes it's actually nice to do something in secret and fail secretly, because you're always being watched. Even when you don't think you are, everyone's watching you. And so it's hard because you always have eyes on you and you can't test your theories out secretly. So you don't tell people, and then you'll go off with your idea and you'll do your secret thing over here because
see me again.
I know. Because you don't want people to see it fail, and then if it's not failed and it's succeeded, then you want to bring it back and you want to tell people. But that's also because it's exhausting being rejected and judged and demonized and villainized all the time. So it's understandable. But the breakthrough that we had with that other piece, with that other container and all of that, that was where you really learnt that informing removes all the shit. Because if you inform and you say to people, this is what I want, this is how I want it, that's informing. And if people can either go, oh yeah, I can do that. Or they could be
Right.
like, that's actually not how I roll. And it's like, that's cool. But guess what? I don't have to deal with you. I can go and deal with this person over here. And so informing is removing resistance. But it is hard because you can just go and do. There's no pause or barrier there. And so sometimes it can feel a bit beneath you. Like, why do I have to tell everybody what the fuck I am doing all the time?
So much.
And so it's exhausting.
Wow, these cunts are dumb.
Yeah, literally, it's exhausting. It's like, why do I have to explain myself to you? Like, you are dumb. I shouldn't have to explain myself to you. You should rise to my level.
Yeah.
So it's hard and it's exhausting. So that's why you don't want to do it. But you just, like we said, nothing in this world is more important than your peace. Nothing. Like, no money, no whatever the fuck. It will never, ever, ever be worth that peace that we feel inside of ourselves. And so, yeah, it's a pain in the fucking ass, but peace is priceless. And that's why sometimes we got to do that.
Peace is priceless.
Absolutely. Because you're just here to do whatever the fuck you want when you want. That's what peace is.
Yeah. And it's interesting because the battle of, sometimes there's like, the battle of I want peace, but I want to inspire. And sometimes they can be conflicting. And sometimes it's like, well, in order to go forward and show and have courage to do these things and go first, that doesn't always equal peace. But then, like, I will do it in a way that will be the most peaceful.
Yeah. Do you mean like if you were to follow like your hunch or like what you wanted to go and do,
Yeah.
it might piss people off or it might offend people or it might upset people and it might disrupt the peace?
Yeah, so...
Is it your peace or is it other people's peace?
No, my peace.
Okay.
So, for example, at the moment, I've got a scenario where I want to get rid of things going on in my life, but it would create so much turmoil that... So I need a lot of courage to do this thing.
Yeah.
And I will, but right now I don't want to do it because the turmoil doesn't give me much peace at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I will just use my willpower to put up with it for a bit longer and then get rid of it because the turmoil, I'm just like, I can't be fucked. It's just actually easier to deal with this pain.
Yeah, so like you're making a trade-off.
Yeah, trade-off. Yeah.
And eventually, you know, you will get to a point in your life where nothing will interfere with your peace. And it doesn't matter what dies along the way for you to feel that. Because at the moment, as normal human beings, we will always want to belong first and foremost. And sometimes we confuse that with belonging to others versus belonging to ourselves. And that's the thing that we get clearer on as we go through life, which is belonging, yes. But is it more important to belong to others or belong to ourselves? And that's the thing that will deepen as your journey goes through. And this is the thing. It's like we need to just stop putting so much pressure on ourselves to be at a certain level. We need to meet ourselves where we are.
Yeah.
It's okay that we aren't able to fuck everybody off and, you know, follow our path. It's okay that that's where we are.
Time.
It takes time. And it's normal.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you. And also, this fucking woman, she's like 10 million goddamn, like, steps in front of everybody. But she's always like, yeah, but, like, I could also be 100 more steps.
I'm also like, that's not enough. I've got fucking shit to do.
I've got things on the fucking go.
Like, I've got to get through this fucking, what's it called? The word I'm thinking of. Some sort of trauma thing. I've got to get through it. Stop crying. Okay. Feel it. Yes. Get emotional. Right. Scream. Cry. Right. It's painful. Okay. Done. Let's move on.
Yeah. Like your seasons of growth are like small, like short compared to others. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that they're not as deep and as like qualitative.
Yeah, they're
just
deep.
so much shorter because the rest of us are so fucking slow.
Yeah.
Sorry,
my friend
that's
Alex
what we are.
Tripod talks about this on stage.
Yeah.
She talks about it in the personal development world.
Yeah.
It's like some people's growth is like this. It's like, oh my god, it's so painful and I'm learning. Oh my god, I hate this
Yeah.
pain. And it's like, oh, I'm so good. Look how much I've grown. So that's the speed at which most people do.
Yeah.
Is she's like in the PD world, she teaches how to collapse time, which is like at that speed of what someone's done. In our world, it goes like this. Oh my god, so painful. Oh my god, I'm so good. Oh my god. Blah, blah, blah. So it's like we fucking grow 10 times the speed and go through 10 times the wormholes, upgrades to compare to like the average, And I just think that's also got to do with the personal development world as well.
Absolutely. But I think that's why I always say like you guys, like that's why I'm always like manifestors, guys, I need you to fucking understand how insane you are. Like, this is why I'm always like, stop being somebody else, because you guys are like fucking next level. We are so slow, and that's okay. I don't want to be fast. I'm happy just sitting over here watching you guys go at the speed of fucking light and learn. Like, but the rest of us can't go like that, and I'm always in awe of like how much you guys get done. I'm honestly like this, like, what the fuck just happened? How quickly you grow.
Yeah, and also though, don't you think that there's other... I do see though that other design types grow that quickly.
Oh, we do. We do. There's never like a blanket rule to anything. I don't think, because human design is all about uniqueness and individuality. But there is something exceptional about having a direct energy source to your manifestation or your expression, which is what you guys have. We don't have that. I can have it in the presence of certain energy, but I can't have it by myself. The beauty of manifestors is that you have that whether I'm here or not.
Yeah.
You don't need me, whereas I need you.
Right.
There's a very big difference, and that's why I'm always like, guys, because you can literally just go forth.
Okay, right.
Be with the force.
Right. Are reflectors... Tell me about reflectors then in that instance. Can they, because you said that they can sample, do they need to be in that energy as well?
Yeah, so we definitely, we would need to, it would depend whether it's the transit, so it can be what the planets and how they're orbiting, and how they impact a reflector's chart, or it can be the person's energy that we're sampling as well. Okay. So yeah. That's the only difference, which is we need somebody else to do it with, whereas you can do it on your own. Yeah.
Thank you. This is so good. I wonder if this is going to be valuable. I wonder if people are going to be like, oh my god, that's so cool. Okay, next one. This is just a random lesson that I learned. I don't think I've shared this with you either. The last container that I thought I was trying to get into, and then we worked out that intentionally the universe was like, you're going to get into this thing, intention to have nothing to do with business. It was in order for me to learn the lesson of human design to call me forward more. Yeah. I realized that if the other person had not have been a raging hothead, this guy was angry as fuck. He was very, and he matched me in terms of, I don't know, maybe ego. I don't know what it is. But I realized if he was like a soft, kind of gentle person, I wouldn't have learnt the lesson, and I don't believe that I would have been able to be called forward. So intentionally, the universe was like, Olivia, you need to learn to set the tone more, to be more courageous and say no to things and get yourself out of shit and all of that sort of stuff. Because when I entered this, something else that I'd learned from you, but I actually learned this from my guides before I met you, was follow your intuition. So if anything's a fuck yes, go all in. Just fuck yes in the moment, bang, go. And when I signed on to this big container, it was a fuck yes. I was like, this is a fucking... The second that I signed on to this fucking container, and I'm talking like thousands and thousands of dollars, right? And I was like, fuck yes, I'm all in it. The second I got in, and I signed the contract, I was like, I started seeing red flags instantly. Like this person all of a sudden was starting to post aggressive stuff on their own TikToks. And I was like, this is disgusting. And do you know what? Instantly, I felt shame and didn't want to share it with anyone. Like, I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to tell Tara because I was like, oh, but my intuition was so strong and told me to get into it. And then I'd realized that it was such a fuck yes for me to get in because I was meant to learn this lesson.
Yeah.
I was meant to choose someone that was gross energy. That he was something gross. I was like, ugh, I don't like you. You're actually a shit person. But it's like I had glass fucking goggles, like fucking drunk eyes, that I didn't see that beforehand because the universe wanted me to feel that it was a fuck yes in order for me to fucking get in, get out, learn the lesson, and get the fuck out.
Yeah. And like, I think even whilst we were unpacking that, you were trying to figure out how to almost like work with that and how to like fit in that. And that was what we were trying to unravel, which is like, anytime somebody asks you to be less of who you are is a time where you don't do that. And so it was a really big fork in the road because all of your decisions have led to the same fork. It's like, we'll accept you, but you have to be this. Or you can walk by yourself if you choose anything else. And so it came to, again, to that fork, which was like, what are you going to do? Are you going to break? Are you going to fit this mold? Are you going to cave? Are you just going to stop being yourself? Or are you going to like stand on your own and be like, no, like this is who I am. And if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, we've got to go our separate ways.
Yep.
And it asked you, and it was like, you were like, in the beginning you were working through it because you were like, okay, but what if I do this and da 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 da, and I can hear your head clicking. And you worked it out on your own. You were like, I know what he's fucking trying to do. And I'm like, yeah, and what are you going to do? Because the universe will keep throwing the same lesson your way until you learn. Have you learnt your lesson? And she did.
I really, truly have learnt my lesson now.
She did.
I really fucking did. Because this has happened 3 times in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
And the first 2 times I didn't hear it. I didn't learn it enough.
Yeah.
And there was also a bit of shame around me wanting to, I didn't want to be known as that person that enters containers and fucking ends contracts. Like, because my friends, also in this interview, because I'm very open about it, my friends were looking at me thinking like, you shouldn't be fucking doing that. You shouldn't be like entering containers, signing contracts that you're going to pay someone for something and then exit. And I'm like, yeah, I can.
Watch me.
Watch me. And I did.
Yeah.
And it just shows also how important it was for me to have you during that period. Yeah. Or else again, I wouldn't have learnt that lesson. Like, I truly believe that the universe had brought you to me at the right time, right before I was going to learn the biggest lesson.
Yeah.
This is probably the biggest one I've learned. It's probably been about 2 years, and I learned some big shit, big deep wound things, life belief systems that I have to undo, 30-year belief systems, probably every 24 months. And it's so how cool that you were a part of this one.
I know.
For me. And so you supported me through that.
Because like you could have come, and you did, you came to me in that moment, and I could have, just like the rest of the world, told you what you should be doing. And I didn't say that. I told you to fuck everything the world told you to do and to do what you wanted to do. And that's the thing that, you know, when I talk to every manifestor who's pretending to be a fucking generator, I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, you should be doing this. Because that's like you're pretending to be a generator because the world's fucking told you that you should be a generator. But if you want to be yourself, well, we're going to have to make some hard decisions. Because being yourself isn't fucking easy, and it's going to ruffle feathers, and you're going to fall over and eat shit and all of that. But at the end of the day, you get to put your head on the pillow at night and you get to sleep well because you embraced yourself for the first time in a very, very, very long time. Because you've got to think about how many times somebody said, Olivia, you should or should not be. How many times somebody started that sentence and you went, okay.
Well, I have a list of those things I've been collating over the last week or so of all the times when someone said, do this. And I'm like, fuck you, I'm going to do it this way instead. Yeah. So many times. And I'm like, oh, that's what she's telling me.
Yeah.
Fuck, you're amazing. Fuck, I love you. Honestly.
You're welcome. I say though, every other type waits for things to happen, but manifestors make things happen. Very big difference.
Make sure happen.
Don't fucking tell them what they have to do because they'll find a goddamn loophole. Ain't nobody find a loophole like a manifestor.
No, fuck no.
Don't give them ultimatums. Don't tell them what to do.
No, do give it to me. You know why? Because it fucking gives me confidence, or not confidence. What's the word? It gives me gives me excitement. Gives me, it's like a thrill when you say you can't do this. It's a challenge. I fucking love it.
Because guess what? She's an ego manifestor and she likes proving people wrong. So if you want, that's what she's designed to do. So if you want to challenge her, be prepared to fall on your fucking ass. Because I could challenge people, but an ego manifestor is not one, let me tell you. Guys, be smart. There are people we can challenge. Ego manifestors probably aren't the ones that you want to start with.
No. I don't see a manifest in your contacts.
Oh, and Siri thinks that too.
Fucking Siri, getting involved.
Go Siri.
Yeah.
Fucking little legend. Alright, shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
So I'm getting hungry. You hungry? Have you had lunch?
No, I had I've been up since God knows what.
2 a.m. My sister thing.
Your manifestor sister.
Yeah, she's got a manifestor sister. That's another reason why she can handle this. They're my biggest lessons that I really want to share. And you should see this list of these are all my differences of things that I've collated. It's so fucking cool. And I'm like, it just keeps adding. Oh, that's something else I've realized since working with you is, I've kind of going through, because I'm learning about myself, I feel like I'm going through this thing where it's I don't know how to describe it, but it's I'm having flashbacks of my life. Flashbacks of these aha moments of oh, that's why I fucking did that when I was 10. That's why I did that when I was 16. Oh, that's the real reason. And I'm so I am also feel a little bit tired at the moment, or draining. Is that normal to go through that?
Absolutely, because you're awakening.
I'm awakening.
You're awakening. So as we awaken, we have to process. So there's a lot of these moments that we've had in our life which we didn't process because in the moment it might not have been safe, or we might not have been old enough or aware enough or conscious enough to make sense of it. So sometimes throughout this journey, as we awaken, things will start dropping in and dots will start connecting because you are seeing things for the first time. And so it can be really exhausting, and that's why being awakened is not something that a lot of people do, because it's fucking hard work, because you have to consciously choose to do the thing against what everybody else is telling you to do. And it's hard. It's hard to be the bigger person, the stronger person, one with the bigger balls, all of that stuff. It's easy to just give up and just play a victim. And we've all done it. I've done it. We'll do it. It's not something we get to just delete, but we just do it in a way that we're more conscious of. So I think now you see things, and even though you might still choose the old way, you're aware of it, and that's why it's exhausting, because now you can see it, and you almost hurt yourself even more, because you're like, why the fuck did I do that fucking thing? Oh God, I'm doing that thing again. Why am I doing it? God damn it. And
I'm going through a lot of that at the moment.
Whereas before you were just blind to it, you were deaf to it, you didn't see it, so it's easier.
Ignorance was bliss.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
So I think that's normal, and eventually these things won't be so heavy They won't be so hard. And being you will be the new baseline. Whereas now it's like, you're like that, you know, butterfly that's like almost like it's leaving that cocoon. You're not out of it yet. And it's like, you're really just like in that transitional period. And like once you're out and once you've, you know, metamorphosized into this new thing that you want to be, it won't be so exhausting because that will just be your new normal. And people are just going to have to come along for the ride or they won't. And it will be easier for other people to accept you the more you accept yourself. Yeah, because sometimes it's hard when we're trying to get to know you, but you don't even know you. Like, we're like, well, who the fuck are you?
How are you meant to get to know me? Yeah,
How am I meant to get to know you if you don't even know who you are?
Yeah.
And it will just get easier with, you know, time and like the transformation that this woman's made, honestly, in the short time that we've like been working together. And like I always say to Livo, like I love working with her because she's so open-minded. Like when she asks, it's like she just receives. And so only the deep, deep feminine is really, really able to receive. So although there's this, you know, really beautiful, strong, masculine quality to you, you also have this like absolutely almost like limitless feminine depth to you that when I give something to you, you really take it and receive it and you just trust.
Thank you.
You know?
Wow, I didn't know that.
You do. And that's why it's easy to work with you because it's an exchange.
Right.
You know, you feed like me and you see me for who I am, and that's really important to me as a projector. And in turn, I call you forward and give you that ability to like be more of yourself. I feel like I'm basically like her translator. That's what I feel like my role is.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is how you need to talk to a manifestor, guys. If you don't talk to her like this, you can get fucked. All right, we're not asking Livo to be less of Livo. That's not what we're doing. So if that's what you want to do, I'm going to be her bodyguard, and there's the door.
Yeah, I feel like you're my bodyguard.
Literally,
that's a
I'm
really
like,
good description.
goodbye.
Bodyguard, translator.
Yeah.
Translating bodyguard.
Yes. Yeah, like we should all just, you know, be able to be more of who we are. That's what I want for everybody. Like, you know, like we can like love people so much more deeper than what we do at the moment.
Yeah.
Like this is, you know, there is such beauty in ego, in, you know, making it about me. I will do this if I want to do it. And what a beautiful lesson for the rest of us who people please like motherfuckers. Like, you give me permission to be like, no, if I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. I can be selfish, and there is nothing wrong with that. And I learn these lessons through people like yourself. I don't learn it from people pleasers. So as much as I give you a permission to be yourself, you give me a permission to be like more selfish of my time and my energy. And my standards have risen the more that I work with you. My standards are more high caliber. Like if you want to
watch out, motherfuckers, you better be as good as me to work with her.
Well, it's like if I'm going to give you my time and my energy, like you got to be able to like acknowledge, you know, my craft and my wisdom and, you know, my mastery. Like, and if you don't, like, well, goodbye. So we've both taught each other stuff, guys. It's not just...
Yeah. It's been such a cool relationship.
I know. I love it.
I fucking love it.
I love it. Literally, I always just cheer her on. I'm like a cheerleader from the sidelines. Every time you do you, I'm like, fuck, yes! I will never be like, oh my god, why the fuck did she do that?
And I love being seen like that as well.
Yeah.
I love people cheering me on and telling me how amazing I am.
Absolutely, and there's nothing wrong with that. Again, stroke the ego, guys. Fuck
yeah.
Thank God.
And
nothing.
Could that be a part of my design as well? That I love hearing that, because I used to think it was part of my love language.
No.
It's like I like words of affirmations. It's like my second quality time, and then words of affirmations are my top two. Is that also because it's part of my design?
Yeah, you're an ego manifestor. It's just you like to be, like you like your ego to be stroked. And again,
Cool.
there's nothing wrong with that. We need to stop.
I love it now. Well, tell me how much you love me, guys.
It's the same about me. Like, I was really afraid of asking people what they see in me, because I'm like, oh, that's weird. Am I allowed to ask that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm a projector. I'm here to be recognized.
Yeah.
Like, give me a compliment, but make sure that you see me for who I am,
Yeah.
not for who I'm not. And I love it. Now I'm like,
I just want to connect so many of my projector friends with my other projectors so that you can all see each other. You know how you and
Yes.
Tara, my fiance, she's a projector too, they're besties and they're just like constantly like, let's go have a projector day. What do you call it? We're like, let's just go see each other for the day.
no, we just like stare at each other and like not say anything. Because we just get to be ourselves. And I love that. I love that with Tara and yourself, because you're such contrasting energies, but you're both just, there's just such beauty in the way that you guys interact with the world, and I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, before we wrap this up,
Yeah.
vulnerably, would love for you to share with the audience on what are the things that you think right now, looking at me, what are the next things you think that I'm still playing small at, and or I don't know what the right language is here to use, I'm just using that word. What things do you think I'm playing small at right now, or are the things that I'm yet to just grow through still?
Yeah. So I would probably say that you're still in the phase of, you think that you need certain people to get where you want to go, because you feel that there's a need for people, for these energetic exchanges for you to get there. And so you're holding on to certain things because you're still in that phase where you think that they make you stronger, or they prop you up in a way, or something. And the beauty of being a manifestor is that you don't need teams of people. Like, you don't need to lead teams of people to get to where you want to go. Sure, you can rely on people, but you don't need them there. So there's still a lot of energy and time that you're giving to playing games that really aren't worth your time. And a lot of these things you are unraveling. And like, I saw this months ago, and there are lessons that you will face as that happens, you know. And like I said, you can't go all into things. Things will unfold as you go deeper into this. But that's probably where I still see you playing the generated game, because you think that you need to have, you know, these people, multiple people to get over here, whereas that's not. And I hear you saying it. I know that you know it, but you're still not fully doing it, because I can see the list that you're writing. You're like, somebody told me to do this, but I went and did it this way. And so I know that you have the knowledge, but there are still moments where you get sucked into this vortex. And you do step out of it and you get your awareness, but then you do go back into it. And so eventually you'll stop going back into that. So that's probably where I feel that you would need to be, you need to get comfortable being more alone. I think that's the thing that you really struggle with.
Yeah.
Is that you don't know, and I'm not talking about like you don't know how to be alone. I'm talking about you don't know how to like fully just stand here and
not belong to anything.
And just, that is so terrifying, and it's so normal, but it's like you can't be half a manifestor.
Yeah.
And so you can't have a fucking toe in and then come out. And sometimes that's what I see you doing, which is you're like, I'm a manifestor. Oh, maybe I'm not a manifestor. No, I am, I'm a manifestor. Oh, fuck that. Maybe I'm not a manifestor. And so But that's the beauty, because that's the in between step before you fully step into it. And so there's nothing bad about it. It's just part of
the journey,
and you're just learning. And I believe that every person that you trigger, and you will trigger the fuck out of people, is people who are so afraid of facing themselves, because that's what you're doing. And people are going to be like, oh my God, why the fuck are you doing that? Oh my God, blah, 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 judging you, saying all this shit. But really, they're envious of the fact that you are brave and you're courageous and you're doing these things that they are too afraid to do themselves. And so that's the thing. And so it's scary to face the judgment that is going to come your way. And because you know it, because you've faced it your whole life. And I would love to say that there is a way that you could biohack this, but you can't. You actually just have to
go through it.
You have to just learn to be okay with being alone with who you are, in that sense, not like fucking everybody else off. And that will just come with time. Because you're still a very, like, young manifester.
Thank you.
This is the thing, like...
I'm a baby manifester. I haven't been here that many lives, apparently.
So and, you know, the ego is very, like, when your willpower's there, like, you can get fucked. But if she wants to do something, no one's going to get in her way. And it's the same when you don't. Like, you can literally burn the house down. If she doesn't want to do it, it's not going to happen. Like... Just get along, get with the program, guys. So that's the thing as well. It's a tricky one to navigate, your ego, because it's on or it's off. There's no in between.
Interesting.
So yeah, I think that's the next journey. Because all the people that you think you need are the complete opposite. Whatever your mind fucking told you, bro, it's a lie. So if you've got a thought up in your head, and I can fucking hear it, look at her head ticking 100 miles
Why? What do you think I'm thinking right now?
Because you're like thinking of all the things that I've just said, and you're already trying to process it. I can feel it. Because you're like, I'm already like 1 + 1 is 2. Fucking goddamn.
I'm already like, who are these cunts in my life that she's telling me that I think that I need it and that I don't need?
You fucking know. I don't even need to say anything. You know. You're smarter than me. God damn you. See, this is why I'm like, don't be trying to like fool me, bro. You smart. But you will get there when you're ready, and that's okay. Yeah, we all have lessons to learn, babes.
Thank you. Thank you for today.
Yeah, I love you either way. Whenever, however.
Has this been fun?
Yes.
So, if you're watching this and you need a human design guide to help you one-on-one, you need to click the link in the bio and book in a call with Jasmina over here, not just for a reading, because you need someone to hold your hand to break you through.
Yeah, deconditioning.
Decondition.
Yeah.
So book in a call with her, guys. She's fucking worth it. I've literally paid her thousands of dollars. Okay?
Yeah. And if you want to learn how to collapse timelines, fucking talk to this one, because honestly,
that's what I love stories. Alright, we can stop it there. And leave a comment below and make sure you like and subscribe this video.
Yeah, all the stuff, what she said. Yeah.